Publicis. It's a French marketing and advertising company for their
Well,
IT support.
okay, we thought you were going to get hired by Red Hat or Canonical.
I'm working on Red Hat's Fedora project already, so maybe hopefully soon
Mm-hmm.
after I do some contribution to Fedora Linux.
Well, I'm glad to hear you're working, Nishant. But
Yeah, it just
the team has morphed quite a bit, Bill, and we need to find out.
Yeah,
Well,
and
I've identified some pain points, some problems that need to be solved long term. I've identified some problems that need to be solved ASAP, and I've identified some problems that need to be solved now. And because it seems like, and I understand I'm the new guy here, but there some things have happened that have really brought to light a bit of disorganization because of things being built on top of each other over a long period of time, and there's so many resources that we're taking advantage of to make this show work that have been pieced together by people here and people there, and this person's got access to this thing, this person's got access to this thing, this person built this thing over here and nobody seems to know how it works, and
well, the
every
thing is,
single
that
one of these.
it was all really built by Rob Hawkins, and we just inherited it from him. But as long as Leo was here, he could whip everything into shape and know what to do. But I guess I triggered things by leaving, and then that gave some of the other guys the idea they could leave too. And there went Tony, and there went Leo, and
Yeah, and that caused, I mean, that caused the beginning of it all, and then the end of these subscriptions has kind of made all of this come to a head. And now we've got, because the truth that what I'm talking about basically is you got this bite mark thing, okay, that was hosting our website that was
mm-hmm.
completely under the control of Josh. And up to now that was fine because it really didn't require anybody to step in and do any sort of maintenance. Then the all of the Google stuff for
That's going crazy. Yeah.
yeah, okay, so we got until the end of the month. That was one of the things I've identified as a problem we need to solve in the near future. Now, I made the comment last week to Norbert about getting the uh, get us migrated over to the YouTube page for mintcast at
At Google.
gmail.com.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's happened yet or if he even took me seriously. Um,
Or if he had time to do it, he's had his
well, if you
problems.
don't have
So
time to see, here's another thing. If you don't have time to do something, you need to let
somebody
somebody
know, not
know.
just let it drag.
You can't let it drag. Okay, so that's another thing. The episodes. Part of the problem with the episodes, as we see, is, and we see this happen. Okay, well, first off, anybody that's watching this stream right now, I want to thank you for being here. Um, we have some problems we need to work out. In the spirit of open source and open collaboration, we're going to do this right out in the open because, I mean, honestly, it takes a village, I think, and we've got some serious problems to muddle through. Um, it brings to light with these episodes and the editing that has to go into them, it brings to light the complexity that's involved in the method at which we do our episodes. And
And we've been all over the place. Yeah.
yeah, and I don't have I've just inherited, well, I've just taught myself how to do things like make a WordPress website,
WordPress.
WordPress website out of nothing. I mean, I built it. I've got a
A
version
WordPress
of
word
our
site.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've got a version of our website on my Raspberry Pi here from last November. That's the last backup Leo put on the Google Doc. And it works great, except the RSS link goes nowhere.
Mm.
And so I'm waiting today at some point, and in fact, um, yesterday I had my internet service switched over to a business account. That way I could have a static IP address so I could host the server here. Right now I'm all set up. I've got an Nginx reverse proxy set up to route all of our traffic to the servers. I put it on here. I put a clone of the website on here. It works great. Everything's fine. Well, I mean, it's behind. It's from last November.
Yeah.
It's just
Well, our the problem with our RSS is that that's through FeedBurner, and Google has pretty much denigrated FeedBurner. So we'd have to totally get a whole new RSS and feed all our stuff to that.
so yeah. Or we could get our doggone BiteMart back up and running, and that would give me time. I would pay that as long as I would need to make sure I've got all the.
We're supposed to be paid for this month.
It was.
There was enough money in the account to pay it. Why did they shut it down when they had money?
You go to the site. First off, they've got the account blocked, or it's suspended. You can sign in. You can look at the account and all that, and it says it's in arrears. So,
well,
what irritates me.
The problem is that they screwed over the Ubuntu Mate project, and so I wasn't expecting them to do right by us.
BiteMart did.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Namecheap thing, I got real irritated by that because I got emails welcoming us to the fold, and then emails sort of letting us know that we had set up the Stellar account and that we set up hosting, and then the hosting just never happened. We gave them all the information they asked for, and
that's when you. I've been saying for several weeks now we need to open a service ticket on that, because that would seem to be our easiest way. They already have access to the BiteMart account. They already have our setup. All we have to do is get them to say, "Hey, you didn't get the
the thing
though, the files. Fix it."
It got me to thinking though. Okay, so if it's not going to work anyway, let's go back to the drawing board, because that was a non-zero dollar amount that was going to cost. Let's come up with something that is a $0 solution, because we're a zero income podcast, and that's perfectly fine.
Okay, so I'm going to disconnect from the call now. Have a nice day, everyone.
Okay, you too.
All right, bye, Nishant. Okay.
We must have been. It must have been a little too
well, I don't have a problem with starting up a sponsor to pay these little incidental bills.
What I don't want to run into in the future, I would really rather build something on-prem that's not going to cost us anything. Put the keys to the kingdom up for everybody to get at. See, that was another thing. These accounts, like say that BiteMart account, that was set up in Josh's individual name. These things should be set up under the auspices of the show.
I understand that, but BiteMart offered us free web space, and the way they did it is they set it up to give us credits, and then redeem those credits, and they keep giving us more credits as long as we renewed. And then Josh said they're not doing that anymore, and so we went into it with the best idea, with the best intentions and everything, and road to hell and all that. Yeah.
I do kind of feel a little bit bad because Leo said weeks ago to go ahead and back up, but I thought what he meant was to back. I didn't know anything about WordPress until just recently. I've literally completely. I knew a little bit about setting up a LAMP stack from setting up this Nextcloud server.
Well, Leo's biggest problem in my experience has been he assumes that everyone already knows this stuff or can figure it out because it was easy for him. And I don't have OBS, so streaming. Well, now I have OBS. I just don't know how to
Let me
set it
tell you
up.
something about OBS. You get one setting off, and you screwed up the audio for the whole damn show. I mean,
Yep.
I've screwed up the audio on both of these shows. Last week on one of our, arguably one of the most important episodes since I've been a part of this show, and I screwed up the audio in the beginning, which won't be an issue once the audio only version comes out, because that recording is independent of the.
If we can get an editor for it.
So that's my next. That's my next point. What we've got created is the way we want these shows edited is unsustainable because only a few select people have the skill set to do it. In my opinion, we need to simplify the way the show is edited, and I mean way down.
Well, I have at least 80% of the skills for editing it. I can't guarantee having the headspace to do it in.
Yeah.
I have been under so much stress that I have trouble getting up some days,
It needs to be if it was so simple that all I had to do was get one audio feed, slice it in half right where the innards begin, add the bumper music to the not the bumper music, the intro and the outro.
Well, we did have bumper music at one time.
I think we still do.
Between sections, yes.
Yeah, I think we still do. But see, that's part of the complexity that makes it to where it's only a few people can do it.
If we just got it down to one audio stream, then however we chop it up would be easy.
Okay.
We don't have to have it where you chop it in half and plug in the bumpers. We can chop it however we want to chop it. You just have to identify where the chops are, and that's easy to do.
So then it's just basically a matter of downloading the audio from the YouTube. That's what I do on Three Fat Truckers.
And we will take a lot of heat from people like Joe Ressington about not having a professional podcast.
Okay, well then
the sound quality would not be that good.
Joe Ressington can come back, and we would be glad to employ his services if they were free.
Except he would charge full price.
Okay, well, we don't have a huge income from our show the way he does. I am not inclined to live up to anybody else's standards for this show.
Well, if I got an audio stream, I could definitely, you could definitely, for that matter, do the noise reduction, do the, normalization, do amplification, and you can cut it into whatever segments you want to cut it into, and then just add in the bumpers where they go.
Mm-hmm.
That part's easy. The part is the blending of the accounts, and that is because we wanted a professional sounding podcast.
And that is all fine and good if you've got people in place that are 100% reliable. As such, we do not. And
well, we had Owen. I don't know what happened with Owen. Maybe he got tired of doing it. I wasn't here when he stopped doing it. We can get Tony from time to time, but his life is his life and his health is his health.
We need this set up.
Put out, before we go to let's just take it off of the YouTube audio. We should put out, well, I guess we can't put out on the podcast that we need help if no one's getting the podcast.
Well, you can still get, can't you still get the show from Google Podcasts? Let me see.
Nope, because it's not going there. I mean, you can get the YouTube.
You can go to archive.org and listen to it. I've done that.
But we have to upload it. We don't get it to archive.org until we edited it.
Yeah, where... And I need to learn how to make an RSS feed too. That's my next thing I need to learn.
Yeah, and Again, that's something I need to know how to do, and I probably never will.
I watched a YouTube video a while back, and I got a basic RSS feeds because that's how I was going to do my show, the Three Fat Truckers. At first, I was going to upload to archive.org and then just create an RSS based on that. And what I found out was you try to do a basic RSS feed based on just the search parameters for the archive.org feed, and you get all of your shows, but then you get all of the recommended shows
Yeah.
underneath it.
Well, what is I heard from some. What is there besides FeedBurner? Because FeedBurner is on maintenance.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna do some more research. I think there's probably WordPress plugins to do it. I mean, it just seems I've been really fascinated with WordPress as I've gone on this journey. But what I just wanted a flat pack that I could install, that I could just type in a couple of things. This is where our show's at. And make me a feed, and there's just nothing like that out there.
Well, how to geek, how to find or create an RSS feed for any website. If a site is built using WordPress, simply add slash feed to the end of the URL.
Right, but end of what URL?
The website, the website and mintcast.org/386/feed.
Oh, by the way, for anybody that might be listening, if suddenly this video goes away, it's because I've been waiting on my static IP to get set up. They set it up yesterday, but they did not. They set it up yesterday. But the change didn't get changed over. Londoner says hi, guys. Hi, Londoner.
Hi, Londoner. We're glad you're still with us. Someone has to be.
Well,
After we're done with all this, we're going to have to rebuild our listener base, because when you have problems like this, you lose people.
you know, sorry, hold on. That was the first thing I was thinking. If I can't get people, because if anybody that looks at the general page on the Discord could like bear witness to my losing my mind over this over the last couple days, and because
Well, only the
Londoner,
crew has access to general, so.
Londoner, let me say it right out loud in front of everybody. Thank you so much for bringing the website to my attention. Because I'm not sure when it would have been. Not that I was able to do anything about it.
I am the least technical guy on the team. I always have been, except for some newbies that come and go, and usually they at least have some college courses in Linux. But,
I think people come to the
Bill
show.
Bill is one of the newest guys, and he's doing his best to get
I'm a
this
truck
all
driver.
together.
I mean, and I'm trying. Well, okay. First off, let me tell you something. This show is not going to die
No.
on my watch. Sorry, not going to happen. Not if I can figure. I've got the gear to pull off something here. We definitely have the will. Moss and I and the other guy. I'm not okay. I don't want to downplay how much the other guys care about the show, but some people are going to come on the show with the expectation that they can just show up at 3:00 every Saturday and every other Sunday and maybe write out some show notes, and they won't have any responsibilities, and that's fine.
And we've seen some of them log in at 2:50 and start typing their show notes.
I have no idea what you're talking about whatsoever. But I mean, you're gonna have people, and rightfully, I suppose maybe I had a little bit of that expectation that I was walking into something that was already made and etched in stone, and I didn't have to worry about anything. And you know,
Well, it was made. It was just in soapstone, and we've had a lot of flooding lately.
yeah, everything's sort of ended. Everything is sort of ended at the same time. And oh
It'd
no,
be
I've got
great
it.
if we could. It'd be great if we could get Rob Hawkins back here to fix it for us. I'm sure that's why he's not showing up too.
People have lives, you know. I've just, I suppose I've decided to make this show and my other show one of the most important things in my life, you know. And
Yeah.
I think now that all these things are coming to a head, it's just obvious at this point that what we had was nice. It was very well put together, but it was unsustainable because it was relying on many people to play an active role. Not just one. No one person could manage all this stuff in real time. And what I mean by man, Leo might have been keeping up on certain things, but if the bite mark thing would have happened under his watch and he wasn't able to get a hold of I mean, he might have known beforehand how to do the backups and all that stuff, but we were sort of left in a situation where we had to, I took some time to teach myself the skills to put the website together, and I got it working first try, no problem. And now I'm waiting on my static IP. Oh, like I was saying, they switched me over yesterday, but it didn't take, so I had to open up a maintenance ticket, and they said, okay, yeah, it should be fixed between noon tomorrow and midnight tomorrow night. That was yesterday that they told me that. I said, okay, great. Yeah, I've got a website I need to resolve to this IP.
Mm-hmm.
So business account. The nice thing about business accounts, they cost about $13 a month more, but you get much better
Yeah.
uh,
You get what you pay for.
service.
Yeah.
Well, when you set up something one way and then you change the whole thing, I don't know. You add complexity, and that's kind of what I'm getting at. Is we need to remove some of the complexity. So what I was also considering is moving, because you can set up an account on Red Circle to actually host the audio for free. You get one show for free you can put on
Mm-hmm.
there per account, and that would be, and they generate the RSS feed for you.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, you literally don't have to do anything except upload the show. Upload the
As far,
show.
as far as the website, isn't it mostly just importing our show notes? And we have the show notes.
I don't know if he's been. I think the plugins that were being used on that site, and see, that's another thing. They've got all kinds of, whoever made that site put all kinds of plugins into it, and it's doing all kinds of different things. And I think it's actually updating via the RSS feed automatically.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a plugin on the front page. It's basically just going out to the feed, getting, because when you click on anything on that page, there's nothing actually going on except links off to somewhere else. There's no encoding, there's no storage of anything. It's just a link to, you push the play button, it's playing from the file at archive.org, just through.
Question: did you tell Namecheap to cancel the hosting account?
Yes.
Okay. Got to keep the T's crossed.
There's another thing too. So I was looking at the DNS panel for our host name. There was about 30 A records on there of one sort or another for all different things that have been used over time. So I cleaned that up, and I'm waiting for us to get either the bite mark thing back up and running, or if I've got to, if I
Your
have to go
static
another
IP,
route.
yeah.
Yeah. If I got to go another route, I was thinking if I don't have the bite mark thing set up, I just set up at least
Just
get.
tell Namecheap what your IP is, and we're good to go.
Yeah, that's basic. I mean, it's already there. Well, I mean, I put in my DHCP IP address on it, but I've got the Pi completely zeroed out. I'm going to start from scratch because it was
Okay.
a bit. What I had done was I was playing around with it, and I built a site, and then I uploaded one of the backups from November, and then tried to do that, but the IP wouldn't resolve to it from the internet. So I'm thinking it needs to be built correctly from scratch, which that's not a problem. I've learned how to do that. I just want to get the up to date backup from the
Bite mark.
page. Yeah. And then go from there. And then if we decide, I mean, I don't see a reason why we can't keep using Archive. It's free. But I mean, its functionality seems to be a little bit limited, whereas with Red Circle is made for podcasts, and it is honestly free if you've only got one show like we do. I've also got a Mumble server. Once I get the IP set up, I'm going to have that running, and it'll just be mumble dot. It'll just be mumble dot. I guess mumble dot mintcast.
Well, we might not need it because we tried to use Video Ninja for the last distro hoppers, and one guy couldn't get in, and we still haven't found out why. Because after the show, he got in just fine. But if we can use Video Ninja, or if we have to use Discord,
oh, that reminds me. After you guys, after you got on and told me about your trouble, I invited the developer of Video Ninja to an interview. Yeah, so maybe sometime next month, because we've got what do we got? Matthew Miller next week. Or the
we
week,
do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's coming to the meeting.
Well, I will.
I think he's
get
coming
that
to
in
the
the
meeting
show
on the
notes.
13th. I can't remember. That's another thing. If we start using we need to start using a calendar if we're going to have people on the show, which I'd like to do more of, because that was crazy. That was crazy good.
Rob had that set up, and we just never followed through on that.
Yeah.
We were a more chaotic team than what Rob was. Of course, it was just Rob and Isaac. So.
All right. But we should probably start using those tools, whether we stick with the Google tools.
That's not. I'd rather get away from Google if I can.
That's fine. We can. I've got no problem with that. In fact, I'd be excited. I would be excited.
I would be happy
because
to be on your server for that too.
Yeah, and that's already set up.
Who is our guest for this episode?
Well, he's supposed to show up. Matthew Miller, the project lead for Fedora. I need to get with. That's what I was going to ask Norbert, or not Norbert, Nishant about today.
Oh, wow.
Because he's the one. Boy, I can't even. Oh, I'm not even on the right page here. Let's see. I can't see who. Because I had a conversation with him in general. Because he wanted to bring Matthew Miller on. I said, well, I don't know how to do, because he wanted to do a calendar invite.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I don't know about that, but just see if he'll come to the meeting. And I'm looking for the messages right now because I want to verify when that's going to be. Okay, here we go. Nope. That's him saying he's going to be out for 3 months.
Yeah. Well, he's now got a job. I don't know how that impacts it.
Now, see, he's going to be one of them kind of guys where when he's here, great. Norbert.
I'm all for the diversity. I don't want to say anything against it.
I want Norbert here. I want both those guys here so bad.
But they need to have the commitment.
But I think Norbert got himself in way over his head, And I think, and I worry. Still trying to find those messages between Nishant and I, and I'm worried that Norbert has gotten himself so far behind that he's about to just burn out. He's about to just
Hey,
crash and burn.
hey, Bill.
Yeah.
I think Londoner might get a kick out of this too. I posted a tweet on Thunderdome uh, where a guy posted a contact he had from a guy from Working America. The tweet goes, "It's just from Working America. COVID has shown CEOs get richer even when the rest of us are going broke. What do you think is the best way to change that?" And he responded, "Guillotines."
Somebody said we should start eating the rich.
The guy responds, "I'm opting you out of texts immediately. Have a great day." Yeah, I had a bumper sticker way back in the '80s. Kill and eat the rich. Why the hell you think we've been fattening them up?
Okay, he's coming on the 14th.
14th, so not this episode.
Yeah, no.
14th. 14th of what? Oh, he's coming on the show on the 14th. The meeting.
Yeah, the meeting. And then
Okay.
we'll talk about being on the show that next.
On the 15th.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I had that worked out as well as I thought I did or not. Because that was fine with George, because he's a bit of a net. Well, Michael is too, I suppose.
Anyhow.
Matthew,
So
not
we
Michael.
don't know.
What am I thinking?
Yeah. So we don't know what we're doing, and nobody is here to tell us what that is. Where are you, Joe?
If we
I
can't,
know.
if we can't keep going the way we've been going, we have to build something that makes sense, that is
Right.
sustainable and accessible to everybody, especially, and make it make sense in a way that is not like overly stressful for the people that are involved. And
That's
the
going to be
people.
hard if I'm involved.
I understand. I want to come up with something that.
I will do my best, Bill.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it needs to work well within those parameters, within something that you're comfortable with, something that is sustainable for, you've got, okay, here's our limitations. You've got your limitations. I've got my limitations in terms of time. There are some things I can do while I'm out on the road. I can't, like, edit episodes
Mm-hmm.
from the road. And I'm basically on the road all week.
Yeah.
What
You got to pay the bills, you know?
Yeah. I can do a lot of maintaining of certain things. I can wire guard back into my home network, and I can make sure all of this stuff is working great. This stuff, once we get this stuff set up, I mean, it's all running on Ubuntu server and Debian and all that, and I mean, it's rock solid,
Let me also bring up that we don't have to produce this into 2 episodes. We don't have to. We can just produce it into 1 episode, and people can complain it's too long, and we will work at being briefer.
If it's too long.
Leo says I can give y'all a quick and dirty edit here and there. Watching on YouTube, but not logged in to comment.
Where's he at?
In general, mintCast crew general.
I got to scroll all the way back down. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a button down here. Jump to present. Oh,
There is?
that's too cool. Too bad it's a filthy closed source proprietary application. I've never tried Matrix. Is it about as good?
I have never.
I don't think it is.
We had Josh Hawk had an Element server, running Matrix on Element, which is a Matrix program, and nobody really got into it, and I especially didn't.
I'd rather be shot in the face than get on a whole nother social
Mm.
media messaging platform. I can't even tell you how much I have no desire to. I mean, Telegram and Discord and Twitter and Facebook. Yes, Facebook. I said it. Uh,
Uh, I actually own about that much Facebook stock because I figured
so you're the
stupid.
guy.
I figured stupid people are going to make that stock go up, and as soon as I bought it, it plummeted.
It's not
I,
going anywhere. It is not going anywhere. I don't care what anybody does or what kind of trouble. Uh, yeah.
I think I have like not even a whole share. I know it because the stock is so high. I couldn't afford to buy a whole share.
I don't own anything, but I do know just from because when I set up Three Fat Truckers, I set up all of the social network infrastructure, including I've got a Telegram channel with one person in it.
Yeah,
Me, and I keep posting the shows in there, thinking someday somebody because truck
I've
drivers
got
do use Telegram.
I've got a Telegram group for Bodie, and I know Eric the Unready is in there, and I maybe have 12 or 14 users in the group, and most of them went away already, and I
Yeah,
and just didn't bother to leave the group.
I've always found it to be kind of flaky the way it acts. It doesn't. Well, it's an Electron app, isn't it? So it doesn't really behave
Telegram?
like any of the others.
Telegram's not Electron.
Telegram? I don't know. Let me see. I mean,
I don't know. I always get it flat pack, but
yeah, it is a flat pack, but I think like the Toot Noda app I use for my email too, that comes as a flat pack, but that is firmly an Electron app. I mean, you could
uh,
put anything in a flat pack.
I really hate the Twitter app because it when you get into it, it doesn't leave you off where you doesn't bring you in where you left off most of the time.
Twitter.
I'm seeing days old stuff, and so I have been trying to move over to Mastodon. And when Musk bought Twitter, all of a sudden there was a flurry of activity on Mastodon, and then they found out well, there's only a few
Oh,
hundred.
for crying out loud. That whole thing is so silly. Much to do about nothing,
Well,
really.
it's already gone. There was this huge burst of new activity, and then they said, "Oh, gee, there's only a few 100,000 people here," and it all died down again. I've got maybe twice the traffic I had before the Twitter flip flop.
I doubt anything's going to change, honestly. He talks about open sourcing the algorithm. He talks about making it truly free speech and, the definite, of course, when you say free speech, that means a lot of things to a lot of different people. But I think what he means is he wants to open it up in a way where anybody can say anything. And I think that's what's upsetting people.
Yeah, well, I don't want anybody to say anything. There needs to be some truth filter somewhere because the whole country is being ripped apart by phony truths, by false statements that they know are false statements, and all of a sudden half the public believes them.
And the the difficult thing about misinformation, disinformation, is that it spreads so much faster because it feeds to that part of the brain that wants the interesting thing, whether it's real or not, and then it just becomes real because somebody said it and you read it in an article with a picture, and so it must be true. And
Well, again, what is going on in the Republican Party was very much what was going on in the Communist Party in Russia when Stalin took over, and he just declared that the truth is what the party says the truth is, and that ain't the way the world works.
the
You can't
truth should never be,
owned by somebody.
yeah, it should never be up to interpretation.
Hmm.
It should the truth should be the truth, and then if you want to talk about, you want to go dive deep on what that is, fine, or what the consequences and the things that are going to come out of that, fine. But the truth, unfortunately, we live in an age where news. It started with cable news, having to make it interesting for 24 hours. They were
Never did.
not for me, no, but
I always was a fan of the original CNN headline news where the slogan was "Give us 22 minutes and we'll give you the world," and you'd hit all the big headlines, and then they do it again. And I'm fine with that because that means I could tune in any time of the day and get the same news or the most current form of the same news. But what they did was then go to the full form CNN, and they only cover like 6 topics a day. There's a lot more going on in the world than they cover on CNN.
of course I appreciate most people are not like me. I mean, I'm the guy that wants the news rattled off real quick and then let me decide what I care about, and then I'll dig deep into that. And that's why I enjoy your news show so much, because
Oh man.
I, well, I mean, it's true, because how much detail or how many news articles are just flat out left out because the people telling the news are deciding what they're going to talk about, what they're not, because they need to dive deep on this one thing that they think that they have interpreted their audience as being interested in, you know.
Well, like I said, I'm simply a news reader. Most of the articles I report on, I only know how to read the words. I don't have a clue what I'm talking about.
Well, you don't have to, because as long as you're saying the words right.
Somebody listening to me is going to hear something that's really interesting to them, and they'll go look up the link and dive into it, and they might not have known about it if I
That's
hadn't.
exactly what I'm saying. So what's important at that point is that you are speaking clearly, you're enunciating, you're using proper, you're putting your words together in a way that it makes sense.
And doing enunciate, the teeth get in the way from time to time.
I've never noticed.
I sure have.
I mean, that might be because you've done some editing, but
How many times I had to re-record saying jammy jellyfish?
I wonder how many people actually screw that up.
And there was another one, a bunch of S's in big words in this last article that I had
say
to go.
2204. I have not updated my big server
I had
yet.
like 5 paragraphs on Ubuntu, and I cut it down to "It's been released, and here's the names of the distros," because I just didn't have time for the rest.
There's people out there that have got every single one of them memorized from start to finish.
I would love to have the ability to go to 15 or 20 minutes if there's that much news, instead of cut my news articles down to the bare minimum. I would love to get a little bit more exposition than I do. I don't need to give opinions or anything. There's a whole lot more news stories than what I'm reading.
Well,
But I don't set the rules. That's Ronnie's thing. I get my news from South Africa and I send it to Scotland. And that's all I have to do.
and yeah, like I said, it's. I mean, I listen to all the news shows. I listen to, well, I say all. I listen to yours. I listen to Linux Action News. But there's about as much, opinion and interpretation in that show as there ever was.
Michael Tennell's show, but I skip
Michael Tennell, he's probably got a bit more of a deep dive into. Well, he does a lot of topics on his show. His is pretty good, but I mean, you're getting his opinion too.
And he's been keeping it shorter too. He says if you want to deep dive on this, we're covering it on DLN. Go listen.
And I always appreciate the shows that provide a way to, if you're going to put ads in and you're going to ramble on about this, that, and the other, give us a way to skip past it.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand why the ads are there, and honestly, if we had a way to implement all that made sense, that would be painless to do, I would be all for it. I wouldn't mind bringing enough money in to cover some of the expenses that we're no doubt going to have. I mean, I don't mind bringing in a little money and then, having having our website on something a little more prolific, like DigitalOcean or Linode, you know.
It'd be okay, I think, to say that uh, our current team is experiencing difficulties, and the solutions we've come up with have called for some expenditure, and we would love to make it possible for you guys to donate to us. And here's our sponsors account.
Yeah.
And that's all we have to say. I prefer sponsors to Patreon. I don't know, Michael Tennell was the first person to use sponsors in a big way, but
Is there any reason why we can't have both? In case somebody's already got a Patreon, they don't.
because then someone has to have access to both. And Patreon has done some really shitty things over the years.
They do, but I think
But
you're gonna have people that already have a Patreon, and they're
okay.
just not gonna want to set up another thing. I mean, that's the only thing I'm sort of concerned about.
Well, sponsors is completely open source.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I care about that.
graduated from university and said, "This is how I'm going to make my living," and I'm all for it.
We could always ask the audience too, you know, if you would.
Well, when I had a sponsors being announced at the end of the show, I was getting about $25 a month, and that would be more than enough to do what we're talking about.
Oh man, $25 a month, we'd have to open a savings account or something.
Yeah.
I
So
would,
that's
if
what
we
I
had a
say.
steady income like that, I would have no problem using a third-party service to host things as such, right? Except for like cloud storage, because that would get expensive.
Yeah, the only thing I have a gripe about, the guy is in UK, I understand that, but it would made so much more sense to have it as a sponsor.us instead of sponsors.org.
Hmm.
We have another comment. LibrePay.
LibrePay. Well, there again, though, I want to go where the people are. You know, if we're going to ask people for money, I want it to be as painless for them as possible. You know, I want to, if somebody's.
Leo says Telegram isn't Electron, Matrix, and Discord.
Discord is Electron?
That's what Leo just said.
Oh,
He
so
said, if you need site help, I can pitch in there too. And then he's got a bunch of laughing faces, says it's annoying to be on 3 active chat platforms, not to mention Twitter, etc.
yeah.
Leo says we use Patreon on LUS, it's fine. I just remember when they really screwed everyone over and made it to where some of the smaller people weren't going to get their payments or were going to be charged a different amount. And
They implemented.
I'm not going to use Patreon again. That's just me.
Yeah. They did a thing where they started charging. Well, they had to start charging taxes, and what they did was they made that a. How was it? It was a percentage based thing. So the people that were getting, you know, if you were, let's say you were already, you were just donating $1 a month to someplace, which, you know, to be fair, that's what most people are doing. Then they were only going to get like 70 cents. But I think the backlash from that was so negative that they ended up, I don't think they went completely backward on it, but I think I think part of the problem, as usual, was the way they rolled it out, the way they communicated it in the beginning.
Well, I have an author acquaintance who was on Patreon, may still be, but she was getting all of her income through Patreon. She was a very popular author, and the way they changed that messed it up right when her cat got leukemia and she really needed the money.
Oh, God.
And I know it's all, in my head, but they messed her up so badly, and she did not deserve that. And I do not want to go with an organization that would not think about the consequences of an action like that.
Yeah, I agree. I would hate to think that it would severely limit us if our audience.
Like you said, $25 a month would be fine.
Man, that would cover everything.
check out sponsus.org. It's a good site. They have a Discord group, and the guy gets right on it when there's a problem.
Look at it right now. You can probably see the reflection off my glasses. It would, I mean, you get 20 people to donate $1, and we're golden.
Well, you might have to do $3 because the site has to charge something too. But
whatever they can do, you know, I'm not gonna. What the heck's going on here? That website is dragging my computer down.
Huh. It's funny. It doesn't seem to be bothering mine.
I don't know what. Well, I've got OBS and all that going.
They got to join today and get 2 months with 0 service.
Hey, that'd be all right.
Especially since it'll probably take 2 months for people to even figure out that we want money and how to find us.
Why don't you go ahead and set that up?
Me?
Yep.
I can do that.
Use set it up. You know, don't use the mintCast at mintcast.org email.
Mintcast at Gmail?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, go ahead and use that. I think I've got. Let me look at that spreadsheet. Make sure I've got a password for that. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. And then we got to get the migration to that account done. And for anybody that's listening, we are going to eventually, the way we're going to deal with this Google thing is we're going to walk away. I mentioned this earlier in the week. Anybody associated with the show that's got that email address associated with the show, either back up or forward your emails, because that's
Now we have to verify the email.
Okay. Eine Moment bitte.
Check your inbox for instructions on how to continue. If you do not wish to continue signing up, your details will be deleted within 2 days.
Yeah, hang on. I'm doing it right now.
So then we need to put out on our Telegram and Discord groups.
Yeah.
Hey, we need a little help. We've been running into problems that we could probably fix by throwing a little bit of money at them, but we don't have it.
Funny how that works. Where's it at? Yeah, there's the password to that. Come on. Oh, lovely. They don't let you copy paste passwords. And it's a big old password. Give me a minute here.
That's all right. Take your time.
Minix. Oop, I almost said it out loud.
F capital G H9 2B.
Yep, what he said.
Or not 2B.
All right, what color do I want in my Chrome? Oh,
Green.
Absolutely. Chelsea cucumber.
We are all about the green.
All right. Go away. I know you can switch right there. Okay. Gmail. I wonder how much crap is in this box. There's nothing here. Oh, here it is. No. 2013. Oh, here we go. Please confirm your email responses. Yes, visit my email. Let me in. Oh, I hate Gmail. The way they make it so... I had to go down to all mail in order to find the stupid message. Are you in? Are you in right now?
In where?
Sponsors.
No, I'm not. Eh, I had to check
refresh
my
that
email
page.
for instructions to continue. Okay, refresh the page.
I can try to send you this page that they sent me to this page.
Okay, I have a login. I do not want that login. I want mintcast at gmail.com. You can send me the password in the room or privately on Discord.
You need the password?
I do.
Okay, hang on.
And then we'll need to put that on the spreadsheet.
Whoa, I didn't mean to do that.
What did you do?
I just put it into general.
Well, General is a team.
Oh, okay. Duh.
But yeah, we should probably put that in the spreadsheet. And
It is in the spreadsheet. It's towards the top.
okay, I am now in
I'm going to delete this if you don't mind.
incorrect email or password.
Did you have a space on it somewhere?
I
At the
did
beginning or
not.
the end?
I shouldn't have. May have put one on, yeah. I'll try it again.
That usually seems to be the reason that happens to
Oh,
me.
I took. It keeps adding on here.
Yeah, you got to go back and delete it.
Oh, it says incorrect email or password.
Well, I'm on it. All right.
It
Well,
won't let me show the password. We're at mintcast@gmail.com, right?
yeah.
Well, let me just type it in.
See, here, I'm going to send you this link to this page. See if you can open this page.
Link to this page.
The page that I'm on that it sent me to here. I'm going to send it the correct.
Leo deleted it for us,
Good.
and now I can't copy it.
Yeah. There's the page. Let me send you the password again. There.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm going to have to type it all in. Whatever it is you're wanting.
Here we go. First, your account password. Yeah, awesome. Now we need your display name. I am a creator.
There. You're there. I'm going to close the page.
I am not a robot.
Oh, here we go.
Create your account. Thank you for signing up. Manage your active sponsorships. Yep, we're in.
Good.
Let me log out and log back in because I need to know that again. Okay, we got a login. We got I'm not going to trust that. I'm going to type it in. And I got logged in. And Bitwarden's got it memorized now.
Leo.
Ooh, I thought I'd come in and harass you guys while you're trying to figure out, the life and meaning and
Oh,
everything.
well, why not?
Well, we got that going, so let me get back down here so I can see all y'all. Hey, there he is.
Well, hello.
The nose is back.
Hey, you leave
Sure
guys
is.
with big noses alone.
I know, man. I
Um,
grew
I can
this one
smell.
naturally.
I
you
can smell
triggered
2
life
weeks
of
in the
Brian
past.
memories, Bill.
What's
You
that?
just triggered life of Brian memories.
Oh,
Hey, big nose.
so I do not have a time frame yet for the website because I don't know where Josh is on that. Once I hear back from him, then I'll know better.
Josh Lowe. Just so we don't get confused on our
Yeah,
Joshes.
yeah, Josh Lowe, the English Josh. I assume he's English. He had a
He is.
he had
He is.
a residential address that was Greek to me.
Have you seen any of his videos?
Huh.
When he was still in high school, he created a program which takes what the heck do they call it? The programming kit stuff that they teach grade school kids and converts it into Python.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Yeah, and you just plug in little blocks that mean different things.
Yeah.
And while he was still a senior in high school, he actually had a video of him giving a presentation in London to a room full of teachers, educators, about his program. And it was all.
Huh. Yeah. We had kids like that in school.
That haircut.
See, when you grew up during the Cold War and you were recognized for having that kind of skill set, one day all of a sudden you just didn't show up to school.
Yeah. Yeah, don't get me scared now. I'd be worried that Ruth appeared.
Oh, well. So, okay. As far as this cloud storage goes, so far you're the only one with an account to that. Once we get everything switched over,
Cloud storage?
yeah, on the next cloud.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Uh,
We need to give everyone that account so we can
well-
find out how we can stress your system.
I'm going to change the domain over to nextcloud.mintcast.org once that's all set up. So I don't want to get everybody used to one thing and then ripping the rug out from under them.
Well, I was busy writing a announcement to our readers.
To our readers. We have
To-
readers
to-
now.
People in the Telegram and Discord.
Oh yeah, Telegram. I never announced a show. Oh well, too late now. I just don't like Telegram very much. It doesn't. EduBlocks, Londoner said that.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's what I said already. Yes,
Oh, you said EduBlocks?
I did say EduBlocks.
Oh, I missed it. Flew right
Unless
over my head.
London heard me say something else, but
Yeah,
I was
good.
pretty sure I said EduBlocks. I can't remember the kids' programming language.
Scratch.
Scratch, that's it. I was coming up with Smash,
Yeah.
and I go, that's not right. But yeah, it converts Scratch code to Python,
Yeah.
and then teaches the kids how to actually write it in Python in the first place.
Yeah.
Which is what
it
we
fills
should've-
that gap in the
yeah.
middle.
That's actually really cool. I just wish more of this stuff existed in my day. My life might have taken a very different direction. In fact, I've got a memory from the early 90s when a friend of mine went off to university and said to me he was going to change. He was in physics and chemistry at the time, and he said he was going to change his major to computers. That's all he said was computers. And I said, huh, what are you going to do, work for NASA? Boy, do
I mean,
look
yeah.
stupid. Well, he's the network administrator for IU, the library network throughout the whole state. So, and he never even finished his degree.
Wow. Yeah.
So
Get in early. That was
there
the
you
trick.
go, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of old guys still running things. just around here, I guess.
Yeah.
Almost all of my students go and work for one.
Now, where do you teach at?
Central Texas.
Central Texas? Okay.
Hmm. And I mean, we're kind of small here, so folks just end up anywhere around here. But yeah,
Not
it's
as
good
small as
stuff.
UTSA, but
Yeah.
anyhow, or smaller than UTSA. I meant to. Oh well.
But everybody needs an IT guy. Everybody.
I know it. Okay, so God, I wish Norbert was here because I'd really like to know what the status is on those episodes because he said he was going to release a bunch of them at one time.
Well, we can't release them now. Right this second until we get
You can go to archive.org and listen to them.
Oh, they're already up there?
No, they're not.
Oh, right.
But once they are, I mean, he's like what, 6 episodes behind, something like that, 5,
Give or take.
Give or take. He's drowning, and he's afraid to say so. I don't know if it's pride or fear or what. I mean, he did mention last week that he could use some help, but I don't think that is a fair. That measures up fairly to the level at which he is drowning.
I guess the only real saving grace you have is that pretty much all the episodes up to a couple ago are already done, right?
I think so. That's why I was kind of puzzled as to why.
Yeah, so they just need to be published, right?
Yeah, is there a limit to the number of uploads we can do to archive? Is that what? Because he mentioned something about he didn't think he was able to upload more than 1 or 2 a week. And I didn't know what he was talking about with that, but
yeah, I've never hit any kind of threshold or anything like that before, but I also have never submitted 2 episodes in a week.
Right. The show's never been, as far as I know, the show's never been this far behind before.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But let me see what we got. Show audio. And let's see. 386 isn't. 385 is not. 384 is not. 383
I'm sure that we've got through 382.5 edited.
Yeah, that's it. 382 is where it stops.
And I don't think we've got any others edited.
Yeah, so like I said, I mean, I can throw some of those together, but I don't know that it'll matter too much if we're not releasing them.
Well, throw them together, and when we fix the problem, we'll release them.